The moment she stepped through the glass doors, hand in hand with him, I knew everything was about to change. Emma, my wife for 7 years, entered the corporate gala with the kind of poise that made it seem as if she owned the room. She wore a shimmering silver gown that fit flawlessly, her hair perfectly styled, her eyes shining with the same confidence I once adored. But tonight, it wasn't my hand she held. It was his. Ryan, the coworker I'd heard about far too often. "He's just a friend," she used to say. "He helps me with projects." I had wanted to believe her. For a long time, I did. But watching them walk together, her laughter a little too light, her smile a little too warm, I realized that belief was no longer something I could afford. The gala was for Summit Tech, where Emma worked in marketing, a company she'd raved about for months. Its growth, Ryan's brilliance, his potential. What she didn't know was that 3 months earlier, I had quietly become a majority shareholder, a silent partner. I hadn't told her, not to surprise her, but to watch and understand why the woman who used to light up around me now seemed bored whenever I spoke, why she suddenly dressed to impress for late meetings. Tonight, I finally understood. When she spotted me across the ballroom, Emma froze for a second. Then she plastered on a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Ryan, meanwhile, looked self-satisfied, the expression of a man certain he was winning. "Mark," Emma said as they approached, her voice unsteady, "I didn't know you'd be here." I smiled, calm and deliberate. "Why wouldn't I be? It's a big night for my company." Ryan chuckled, a condescending sound. "Your company?" he repeated, smirking. "I think you've got that a little mixed up, man." "Do I?" I replied mildly, arching a brow. Before he could answer, the host's voice cut through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "please welcome the newest majority shareholder of Summit Tech, the man whose investments have taken us to new heights, Mr. Mark Reynolds." The room erupted in applause. Ryan's smirk evaporated like smoke. Emma's jaw dropped. For the first time in a long while, I saw fear in her eyes. I walked forward, shaking hands with board members, exchanging polite smiles, my expression unreadable. Behind me, Ryan looked as if the floor had been pulled out from under him. When the crowd began to disperse, I returned to where they stood, both silent. Ryan finally found his voice, stammering, You're the new owner." I nodded slowly. "Technically, yes, but I preferred the word boss." Emma's lips trembled. "Mark," she whispered, her voice breaking, "why didn't you tell me?" I gave her a steady look. "I didn't think it mattered. You haven't seemed interested in my work for a long time. You were always too busy talking about his." The words landed heavier than I intended. She reached out to touch my arm, but I stepped back, my gaze fixed on Ryan. "I've seen your performance reports, Ryan," I said evenly. "Strong results. Shame about those ethics complaints, though. HR will want to discuss them on Monday." His face flushed crimson, a vein twitching at his temple. "Mark, please," Emma whispered, voice trembling. "Not here." I looked at her, really looked, and for the first time in months, I saw the truth, the emotional distance, the quiet deceit, the subtle manipulation I had chosen to ignore. "You decided to disgrace our marriage in public," I said softly. "It's only fair the truth comes out the same way." I slipped my wedding ring from my finger and pressed it into her palm. "Consider this your severance package." Tears welled in her eyes. She tried to speak, but no words came. Ryan moved as if to intervene, but I stopped him with a glance. "Don't," I said sharply. "You work for me now, and the first rule of working for me is knowing your place." The room fell silent. Conversations faded into murmurs behind raised glasses. Emma looked as though her legs might give out. I turned to leave but paused at the doorway, meeting Ryan's eyes one last time. "Next time you walk into a room with another man's wife," I said quietly, "make sure you know who owns the building." His jaw tightened, but he said nothing. I walked away without looking back, each step echoing across the marble floor as the music resumed, pretending to erase the moment. That night, I didn't feel rage, just a strange, quiet peace. Years of loyalty, trust, and love had been traded for illusion, charm, and deceit. And in the end, she lost it all. Her marriage, her career, her name. A week later, Ryan resigned. Emma packed her things and left. I signed the divorce papers with a calm smile. Some betrayals don't call for revenge. They call for truth. And sometimes the purest justice is simply letting the truth reveal itself in front of everyone, showing exactly who was in control all along.